Jimmy Garoppolo scorched the Arizona Cardinals for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. But this game came down to the final seconds. Let's get right into it. Now I'm going to start off with a Cardinals play because this is one of the most impressive passes I've ever seen Kyler Murray throw. Here you can see the receiver he wants, Pharoh Cooper, and he's surrounded by 3 49ers. But Murray just drops this ball nicely in the bucket. It is a perfect throw. The coverage for the 49ers is really good, but a good throw beats good coverage. Check it out from this angle. Oh, that is so good. Now the Cardinals definitely came out firing, and you can see that, yeah, that scoreboard is correct. They have jumped out to a 16-0 lead. To make matters worse, the 49ers offense was off to a slow start too. So they really need something to get them going here. They need a spark. They need something to create some offense. Something that maybe Kyle Shanahan has been saving, a surprise. And here it is. Richie James down the sideline for 57 yards. This completely changed the game. And we're going to take another look at it and see exactly how this play works, because this is a masterpiece from Kyle Shanahan. Okay, at the start of the play, we can see that the 49ers have put Richie James in motion. The offensive line all flows to their left, and you can see this is one of those plays where they get everybody moving in one direction, and then Garoppolo rolls out to the other direction, but this time the Arizona Cardinals are ready for it. All the Cardinals defenders have cut back across the field, and to make matters worse, the receivers Garoppolo wants are all covered. But this was the plan all along. Garoppolo comes all the way back to Richie James, who now has no defenders around him, and blockers out in front of him. Now you might be noticing that those blockers are not eligible receivers, and they are downfield beyond the line of scrimmage at the time of a pass. So why is this play legal? We talked about this last week in the Seattle game when they had an ineligible man downfield. Well, the key is this player right here. He is the receiver on the play, and he is not behind the line of scrimmage. If you're behind the line of scrimmage, it is a legal play. If you are at or in front of the line of scrimmage, that is when it is a foul. And when we come back to the Niners game, we can see that Richie James is clearly behind the line of scrimmage. That's why this play is legal. There's been a lot of folks calling for James to get more opportunities in the passing game, and here he delivers. All right, the 49ers have moved into scoring position here, and at the start of the play, we see that Kyle Juszczyk is lined out wide with nobody covering him. The safety for the Cardinals sees this, and he points. He wants somebody to run over there, so Patrick Peterson heads over in that direction. Okay, now Peterson is lined up way too deep here because Kyle Juszczyk isn't a threat to just blow by him. So when the inside receivers take their defenders deep, Juszczyk has all the space in the world to just cut into the middle of the field and catch a pass. Juszczyk is wide open, and Garoppolo has already started his throwing motion, and this causes the defense for the Cardinals to react. I go to the trouble to point this out because it might look like Emmanuel Sanders comes wide open for a touchdown here, but the truth is they're just reacting to the throw going to Juszczyk. Now, could Garoppolo have, say, pump faked it and then tried to get it to Sanders? Yeah, I guess that's possible. But what if the defense doesn't bite on the fake and then they cover Sanders? The pass rush could get home to Garoppolo. And if he tries to come back to Juszczyk then, the defense might react to him and have that play covered as well. I think in general, you don't want your quarterback holding the ball, hoping for something to happen when he has a wide open guaranteed first down to your fullback that almost scores on the play. In fact, this is quite an easy read for Garoppolo, a pre-snap read at that, and he makes an accurate pass on the play. All right, at the start of this play, we see that Ross Dwelley is making a move to the inside, where he ought to be picked up by the inside linebacker and the safety. This leaves the outside linebacker free to pick up the running back. But when the running back makes a move to the inside, both linebackers pick him up. And when Dwelley cuts to the corner, he finds himself all alone because for some reason the safety also gets mesmerized by the running back. Now, I believe this is something that Shanahan saw on film because we're going to take a look at a couple plays now by the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons, who also took advantage of the Arizona Cardinals using very similar concepts with the running back and the tight end. Take a look. No doubt Shanahan saw this when he was preparing for this game, and he made sure to have a similar concept in his playbook for this game. This would not be the last mistake we see the Cardinals make on defense today. Okay, it's 16-7, and the Niners have the ball back, and they're facing a 3rd down and 5. And this play is actually very simple. It's really just an excellent piece of route running by Deebo Samuel. He starts off to the inside. Patrick Peterson cuts underneath him and cuts to the inside to take that throw away. As soon as he does this, Deebo just cuts to the outside. We'll take a look at a few things from this angle. The first thing we're going to notice is that the Cardinals send a 5-man blitz here. Although the Arizona radio guys kept pointing out that when the running back stays in to help with pass protection, it's actually called a dog and not a blitz. If you ever get a chance to listen to those guys, I actually recommend it. They're pretty good. The next thing we notice is that Peterson is totally staring into the backfield here. He's covering a rookie, and he feels pretty strongly that Deebo is going to cut to the inside. When Deebo goes outside, he is totally burned. I mean, just look at the separation Deebo Samuel has from Patrick Peterson, and Garoppolo puts the ball right on him, and that is a big gain for the Niners. This next play is one that I saw talked about on Twitter a lot. Okay, so right here, Garoppolo notices that the defender has his back turned. This means that even though the coverage is pretty tight, he can feel pretty good about throwing this ball. And before Sanders has even started his break, you can see Garoppolo is already starting his throwing motion. You're going to see from this angle what a really, really nice pass this is. Look at this ball placement. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. That was an excellent throw. The Niners settle for a field goal here, and notice they're kicking from the right hash. This is the hash that, if you remember from last week's video, McLaughlin has the trouble with. We went back and looked at his kicks for the Chargers, etc. And this kick, I'll tell you, you can't see it on the camera here, but it was really close. But he made it, and that makes the score 16-10 at the half, and we're going to go ahead and move to the 3rd quarter now. The Niners get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, and they pick up right where they left off. Now the receivers are all going to run fairly long developing routes here. And what we notice is all the receivers are covered on the play, and the pressure is starting to close in on Garoppolo. But he sees that he has a check down here to Tevin Coleman. And this is a designed check down. You know, I saw a great question in the comments last week about whether the Seahawks were taking away some of Garoppolo's checkdowns. And we are definitely going to be taking a deep dive into that, probably in the offseason. Here, Garoppolo just makes a nice throw to get Coleman the football. He leaves the linebacker in the dust, and he is off to the races for a gain of 37 yards. That's something I've really been waiting to see from Tevin Coleman, is his pass-catching ability. Let's go back to the snap. Now, one thing we don't usually get to see is Garoppolo going through a whole lot of progressions on a play, because Shanahan usually schemes these guys wide open. But he takes a look at Juszczyk and sees that there's a linebacker right on him, so he resets his feet and he comes back to Deebo Samuel. He sees that he's covered, so he resets his feet again, and he starts to make his third read. When the pressure starts to come in, the pocket starts to collapse on Garoppolo, so he immediately moves to his check down. And remember, going all the way back to week 1, we've talked about the fact that when the running back is going across the field and the linebacker is heading in the other direction, once that linebacker has to switch directions, he's already beaten. Take a look. Man, that's how you start a third quarter, right? Okay, it's later on in the same drive, and after a penalty, the 49ers are facing a first down and 15. The 49ers have everyone lined up tight to the line of scrimmage, and Garoppolo is under center. He's not in the shotgun. This looks like a running play. You can see Garoppolo holding the ball out to fake the run. Now, the Cardinals here make one of the most spectacular errors I've seen. The linebackers bite hard on the run fake. They all come crashing in, and they've played the run very tough against the 49ers, and this has left some guys open in the middle of the field. And here, you see they completely forget to cover Emmanuel Sanders. And once they realize their mistake, this is the funniest thing. I've never seen this. You see all 3 of the Cardinal defenders turn around and sprinting in the other direction. They look like they're playing offense on this play. Now, the flanker up top will go deep, and naturally the corner will follow him. So when Sanders goes to the outside, he's going to be wide open on the play. And look at the protection Garoppolo has. He has all day back there to throw. Now, unfortunately, Sanders wasn't able to fight for the first down because those broken ribs were bothering him, and he would actually leave the game after this play. But he almost gets a first down on 15. Big mistake by the Cardinals defense. Big gain for the 49ers. I feel like football is the greatest game ever invented because it's like chess, but where all the pieces are moving at the same time. This next play is really cool. In fact, let's go back to the snap so we can take a look at everything. Now, you notice they had a man in motion. Why? Well, this is a run fake. And to really sell the fake, they're going to pull the guard, Laken Tomlinson, over to the other side. This means that the left tackle, Jeff School, is going to be blocking the defensive tackle, not the defensive end. So to account for the defensive end, they bring Ross Dwelley in motion and line him up in front of him. Now, as it turns out, Dwelley is actually going to run a route, and the fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, is going to be responsible for blocking the defensive end. Now, if you think that sounds risky, it is. And that's not just any defensive end, that's Terrell Suggs. And to make matters worse, Juszczyk has completely whiffed on his block, and Garoppolo is a sitting duck. But that was the plan all along. Juszczyk is just going to turn around and catch a pass, and he's going to be off to the races with blockers in front. I think it was right around this time that I was telling one of my Facebook friends I was seeing some really, really cool plays, and I just couldn't wait to break down this game. Now, this next play is a play that every team has had in their playbook for years and years now, and will run usually a couple of times per season, right? The receivers up top are all going to cut across through the end zone like this, and they're going to draw the defense with them. The tight end is going to fake like he's blocking and then just cut to the other side of the formation where he will be wide open because there's going to be nobody there. Take a look. It's a really hard play to defend, and that's why everybody runs it. Some of you may even remember the 49ers actually ran this play in the 98 wild card game against the Packers. In fact, here, I'll just show you. Now, one interesting thing to notice is that this play is so effective that in this version, they don't even bother to clear out the other side of the formation, and it still works. In fact, this is cool. We can actually look at both of them at the same time. Yeah, it's a great play, and that's one that's going to be around for a while. Okay, let's get back to the game. That touchdown made the score 17-16, and the 49ers get the ball back again. They are rolling. Now, this next play I just included to remind everybody what we always talk about week after week, that Deebo Samuel always makes the first man miss. He's actually forced 12 missed tackles this year, and that leads all NFL wide receivers. Very impressive. The other thing is that these are not overly complicated routes that Shanahan is asking Deebo to run. He knows he's a rookie, and it's an excellent understanding and use of his personnel. And you could see the separation there and the timing and the chemistry that he has with Garoppolo. I could talk all day about Deebo, but let's move on to the next play. The 49ers are in scoring position again. And here, Garoppolo throws an awful interception right to the linebacker. I don't know how else to describe it, but we're going to go back to the snap and try to see if we can figure out what happened on this play. On the far left of our screen here, we can barely see the foot of the linebacker. And in front of Garoppolo, we see a lot of bodies. And I think that they were in his line of vision. I believe that Garoppolo never saw the linebacker on this play, and that's why he threw it. Now, I'm not totally absolving him there. Just like we talked about in the Washington game, just because you can't see somebody doesn't mean you can assume that they're not there. On the other hand, we're not talking about a safety, someone that he's supposed to be watching. We're talking about a linebacker. I'm not excusing the interception. I'm just saying I understand it, and that's one that I can live with, for now anyway. Now the Cardinals would capitalize on this, and they tacked on another field goal to make the score 19-17 and reclaim the lead. The Niners are now down by 2 points, and they're facing a pretty big 3rd down and 9 here. The Cardinals have just taken momentum, and the Niners need to get it back. At the start of this play, Garoppolo notices that this defender has his back turned. He makes a really nice throw here to fit the ball in between the corner and the safety. You can see a flag has been thrown on the field for pass interference. Let's go back to the snap and take a look at why. Now right here you can see that the defender who's not playing the ball has his hands all over Deebo. He's impeding his progress towards the ball, and that's why it's pass interference. Deebo makes a spectacular catch. He secures the football. He has one foot down, and he toe taps the other foot. What, you don't believe me? You can't tell? It's too blurry? Okay, let's take a look at it from another angle. This is absolutely incredible. Secures the football here, right foot down, toe taps the other foot. You still can't tell? You think his shoe might have been on the other guy's shoe? All right, let's take a look again from another angle. Here we go. Secures the football, right foot down. And we have a great shot here. You can actually see the toe touching the grass. Take a look. Look at that. In fact, we can even zoom in on this. Let's zoom. Very impressive. Now, what we're going to do is go back and forth. Take a look at this. You see his foot clearly on the grass. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? What a catch. No offense to Tyler Lockett. You, sir, have been one-upped. We have a new catch of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Deebo Samuel. Okay, I'm going to try to calm down because somehow we have to finish the rest of this video. We've got to move on to the next play. Let's see if we can do this here. The receivers all run long developing routes again. Garoppolo has nowhere to go with the football, and again the pocket starts to collapse around him, so he's got to scramble. Now he's running out to his left here. And what do you do during a scramble drill? You run towards the quarterback. You know, Kevin Jones said on the Strike and Gold podcast he thought this was one of Garoppolo's best plays of the game. Running to his left, he resets his feet and fires to Kendrick Bourne in the middle of the field. That is a nice throw. He had a bad play last week, but all year long, Kendrick Bourne has been really good, and here he makes another big play for the 49ers. Now, I absolutely love what happens next. It's the fourth quarter now, so the teams have switched sides. The Cardinals are still up by 2, but the Niners really want to punch this thing in. Okay, now you see Garoppolo watch his right foot here. He lifts it up, and that's a signal for Kendrick Bourne to go in motion to the other side of the formation. But Bourne didn't see the signal. Garoppolo, cool and just calm as a cucumber, checks the play clock, calmly stands up so that nobody false starts, turns to Kendrick and says, "Hey, I need you over here." And Kendrick goes to the other side of the formation. Juszczyk fakes like he's going to be the lead blocker for the running back on the play, but then he just runs right by him and turns around and catches a pass. Now, if you're keeping count, this is the third time that Juszczyk has been tackled at the 3-yard line in this game, and he was mic'd up, and afterwards he said, "I couldn't believe I was tackled so many times at the 3-yard line. He couldn't quite get in." Anyway, I just really liked that play. Not necessarily for the result, but for the way that Garoppolo calmly handled the situation before the play in the fourth quarter during a tense moment in the game. Okay, this next play is really nice. The 49ers start with a fake to the running back, but aha, it looks like the tight end is going to cut all the way across the field again. But this time the Cardinals are ready and the entire defense goes with him. And that's unfortunate because he's just a decoy, and now Kendrick Bourne is one-on-one and he has a wide open lane to the inside of the end zone. Garoppolo puts the ball right on him for a touchdown, and the Cardinals are probably starting to get really annoyed with Kyle Shanahan at this point. That was my dog Frankie that you heard in the background just now. Now, speaking of Shanahan, we got to talk about a decision he made here. You can see that the score is 23-19, and he decides to go for 2. And I don't quite understand this because if you get the 2-point conversion, you're up by 6 and a touchdown beats you. And if you don't get the 2-point conversion, you're up by 4 and a touchdown beats you. But more importantly, a touchdown, if you don't get the 2-point conversion, puts them up by 3. Whereas if you kick the extra point, a touchdown only puts them up by 2. Now, look, I promise you guys, Shanahan is a lot smarter than I am, and it's possible that he saw something about the score that maybe I'm not thinking of. But I don't think so. I think he made a mistake here. Now, after the game, he said he didn't know why he made that decision, that he did have a reason, and that it was based on the score, and that there was a chart that they use, but it wasn't based on analytics. Again, I don't think it's something we should have done, but I'm going to leave the coaching up to him. He's done a pretty good job so far. Okay, the Cardinals, to their credit, boy did they respond. They get all the way down to the 20-yard line where Kyler Murray explodes for a 20-yard rushing touchdown. Wow. Here we see how the play works. They fake a handoff to the running back, and when Nick Bosa chases after him, Murray just pulls the ball back and goes around him. And here, we see Jimmy Ward, a player who's played really well for the 49ers this year, is shocked by Kyler Murray's speed. Nick Bosa looked like a rookie on this play, and Jimmy Ward was shocked at the skill of Kyler Murray. Okay, well, here's the scenario I was telling you about. The 49ers are down by 3 points now. There's still 6 minutes to go in the game. Plenty of time to make something happen. And who else? Deebo Samuel is the player to make it happen. He fakes like he's going to go deep on the play, and the corner has to break into an all-out sprint to stay ahead of him. As soon as Deebo sees that, he simply cuts to the inside to catch a pass from Garoppolo. Now, if you didn't notice, the Cardinals dropped 8 men into coverage. Deebo Samuel found the hole in an 8-man zone, and Garoppolo put it right on him. These two are going to be fun to watch. Now, this ball travels a long way in the air, and look at the location of that throw. That was right in between the numbers. Very impressive. Okay, 3rd and 7, 4 minutes to go. The pressure is on, and the pass is behind Ross Dwelley, who tips it in the air, and it is intercepted by the Cardinals. Huge turnover. This is backbreaking. Now, there's not really a lot I can say on this play, except that Garoppolo and Dwelley don't have the same chemistry that you would expect from Garoppolo and Kittle. It's possible that Garoppolo expected Dwelley to sit up there, but considering there was a defender right there, I don't think so. I think it was a bad throw. The good news is that's pretty much the only throw I can look at in this game and say, wow, that was just a flat-out bad throw. And the 49er defense comes right back and sacks Kyler Murray on 3rd down. Eric Armstead, who has been huge this year. How many times have we seen this? How many times have we seen Eric Armstead make a big play? And not just a big play, but a big play at a critical moment in the game. You know, the 49ers lead the league in sacks. And you would think, well, yeah, they've got Nick Bosa and DeForest Buckner, but Eric Armstead leads the team in sacks. And here, Jimmy Garoppolo, when he gets the ball back, takes off for a run. And we go back to the other angle. Take a look at this elusiveness here. Look at this move. Oh, and this is the longest run of the game for the 49ers. When the pressure is on, these guys deliver. Okay, 54 seconds left. 3rd down and 3, the most critical 3rd down of this ball game. Garoppolo hits Dwelley, and it's marked a 1st down. And this was really controversial at the time. But I'm going to show you guys exactly what the rule is here. Now, here's the deal. When you first contact the football, if you're coming back towards it, where you first contact it is where your forward progress is. And you can see he's beyond the line to gain there. His entire body and the ball are past the 1st down marker. Now, of course, just like on TV, my yellow line is unofficial. And this camera is mounted at an angle. You guys, this was a really close play. But they marked it a 1st down, and when they looked at it in instant replay, obviously there's not going to be anything you see there that's going to overturn that call. 1st down, San Francisco. Now, earlier I was somewhat critical of Kyle Shanahan, and here I'm going to be big-time critical of Cliff Kingsbury, and specifically of Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals, because we got to talk about the game situation. With 30 seconds in the game, when you're defending a 3-point lead, a field goal does not beat you. A touchdown does beat you, so you defend the end zone here at all costs. And I'm not joking. You put 8 men in the end zone. You do not let them score a touchdown. Instead, you make the rookie kicker attempt another pressure kick. But for some reason, Joseph decides to send an all-out blitz, a 6-man blitz. Now, when you notice on the right side of the formation, there's 3 receivers and only 2 defenders, so the safety has to come down and cover one of those receivers. That means there's absolutely No safety whatsoever in the middle of the field. There are 0 safeties. This is called a zero blitz. It's extremely risky. And yes, teams do this, but not in this situation. You might do this in the third quarter so that if they score, you have time to recover. You have time to respond. You have time to come back. But if you blow this with 30 seconds to go, there's no coming back from that. To me, it's like pulling the goalie. High risk, high reward, but not appropriate for this situation. Furthermore, the Cardinals decide to defend the running back with Chandler Jones. I don't like that use of personnel. I'd rather Jones be rushing the quarterback than trying to keep up with Jeff Wilson Jr. Wilson gives Jones a little move to the outside, and then he cuts back to the inside where there is absolutely nobody left to defend him. Jones gets burned pretty badly, falls down, Wilson goes in, touchdown 49ers with 30 seconds left in the game. Garoppolo's 4th touchdown pass. He leads the comeback, and the 49ers are going to win. Now look at the pressure on Garoppolo. There is a man right in his face, and he delivers this football. Now it is slightly behind Jeff Wilson, but after the game, Garoppolo said that because of the pressure, he could not see Wilson. And Jeff Wilson Jr. said he could not see Garoppolo. But you know what? The two of them had practiced this play earlier in the week. And when they practiced it, Wilson did a really good job. And that's why they brought him in, specifically for this play. The 49ers have great players on their roster, and Shanahan is coaching these guys up, getting them to practice. And these guys are just having a phenomenal season. This team is really, really good. And I am totally excited to see what the next 3 games bring, because those are going to be big games. And if we can win at least 2 out of those 3 games, I'm going to feel really, really good about our chances. I want to thank all my new subscribers. Obviously, this video takes a long time to make. If you could just take 1 second and hit that like for me, I would really appreciate it. If you do like this video, please share it. I especially want to give a shout out to Shea Lewis. He's been shouting me out over on the Ronbo Sports Show, so I want to thank him for that. And if you guys haven't seen the Ronbo Show for some reason, I highly recommend it. It's definitely my favorite 49er talk show, and I'll post a link in the description below. Guys, I will see you next week to break down the Green Bay Packers game. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. I will see you then.